Welcome back to Quantreef.com. Ethereum's trading around 1870 right now, sitting right under a well-defined ceiling, and that makes this a genuinely interesting spot to sit down and read the chart. We're going to walk through liquidity, support and resistance, VWAP, the Fib retracement, fair value gaps, positioning, and where price likely wants to go over the next several hours. Price is right at 1870, just below the 1874.90 swing high that's capping things. Momentum here reads mixed rather than clearly bullish or bearish. Trend and structure score is only moderate. Volatility is actually quite low on the stats side, which tells you this is more of a coiled market than a trending one. Neither side has full control yet, but buyers have managed to hold the recent higher low, keeping the short-term structure intact. Price at 1870 is trading above the session VWAP at 1861.87, and also above both anchored VWAPs from the recent swing high and swing low, which sit close together around 1858 to 1861. That clustering is notable. Value is fairly tight here, and price holding above all three suggests buyers are willing to pay up rather than fade back into value, which is a mildly constructive sign as long as it holds. The liquidation map shows the nearest and by far largest pool sitting right at 1878, just a fraction above current price, with a huge concentration of resting size there. That's the strongest wall on the board, and it's pulling in more of the liquidity split than the downside pool. On the other side, there's a sizable pool down at 1823.20. Markets tend to run toward the bigger, closer pool first, so 1878 looks like the magnet, though a sweep there doesn't guarantee follow through. It could just as easily get faded back down. On the panel right now, resistance above is the 1H swing high at 1874.89, then the stop-loss cluster up at 1890.37. Below, support comes in as target 1 at 1841.67, target 2 at 1802.56, and target 3 at 1748.14. Given price is hugging the resistance side, that's the more likely test first. A clean break above 1890 would invalidate the current cautious read, while a rejection sends things hunting those lower supports. Above price, there's a daily bearish gap stretching from 2030 up to 2055, still mostly unfilled and sitting quite a distance away. That's the kind of level that can act as a longer-term magnet if momentum shifts bullish. Below, there's a daily bullish gap between 1694.72 and 1646.26, completely unfilled so far. Neither is close enough to matter for the next few hours, but they're the levels worth flagging for the bigger picture over the coming weeks. Ethereum's working within a swing from 1827.32 up to 1898, and price is sitting almost right on the 0.382 retracement at 1871, just inside the range. That level is acting as the immediate pivot. Hold above it and the path opens toward the extension targets higher. Slip below and the 0.5 level at 1862.66 becomes the next thing to watch. So far price is respecting this zone rather than blowing through it. Looking at the layered scores, trend and structure sits around 60, order flow near 57, and macro regime is dead neutral at 50. None of these are screaming direction. Volume and liquidity at 70.6 and institutional positioning near 70 are more constructive, suggesting real participation and decent positioning behind the move. Statistical volatility is low at 37, reinforcing that low volatility, coiled read. Put together, the picture leans mildly constructive but far from a high conviction call. It's a market waiting for a catalyst. Retail is leaning long here at 69.87%. Top accounts are long at 64.58%, and top position holders are at 59.44%, so everyone's stacked on the same side. The 4-hour taker flow backs that up, 54% long versus 46% short, or about $2.12 billion in longs against $1.81 billion in shorts. With that much one-sided positioning, a squeeze would most likely come from a fast move down that flushes over leveraged longs before any real upside continuation. The most likely path here is a push toward that 1878 wall first. It's the nearest, largest pull, and reach odds put it around 79% within 24 hours versus only around 31% for the downside pull at 1823.20. If buyers clear it and hold, the door opens toward the 0.272 extension near 1917. If it rejects there, expect a slide back toward the target ladder below, 1841 first, then 1802. Since ETH largely takes its cues from Bitcoin's own liquidity structure, any Bitcoin sweep can override this setup entirely, so that's worth checking before leaning either way. The bullish case wants confirmation on a hold above the 0.382 fib and a clean break through 1878, with a long idea structured around an entry near 1823.20, stop below at 1777.51, and target stepping up through 1872, 1876, and 1878. The bearish case fades a sweep of that same 1878 wall, entry there, stop at 1925.07, targets down at 1841.67, 1802.56, and 1748.14. Risk in both cases is framed tight relative to the wall itself. So Ethereum sitting right at a decision point, and whichever side actually takes that 1878 liquidity first probably tells us where the next rail leg goes. If this kind of layered read is useful to you, give the video a like and subscribe for more of these. Quantreef.com runs this same 9-layer structure, probability, and liquidity framework across more than 100 coins, and there's a 7-day trial if you want to dig into it yourself. As always, this is for educational purposes only and isn't financial advice.